All right, legends and super legends, we're hitting the road. Paul's here. Time to go. We're clipping in. It's 6:30, and what is it? 6:48. 6:48, yeah. A little behind, but we had a few things to take care of.
Yeah, we had to film those lights that are on Paul's bikes. They came from Vaunt, sent to the channel for review. And instead of just unboxing, I like to review products.
We've got the Rafa Pro Team jersey modeled with our team kit, shorts and gloves. Let me get you to get a shot of me for the boys and girls.
So I always like to show products in action as opposed to just taking it out of the box.
It's getting hot lately, so we're rolling out a little earlier.
It was very hot to me on this ride anyway. I overheated quite a bit.
I decided to go with black, my brother, because it just works.
So I went through a lot of water on this ride. We had to stop twice. I drank even more than Paul did. So everybody's different. So you got to really listen to your body. I needed more water. I guess just getting used to the change in temperature.
Yeah. In there, because sometimes I end up only dollar bills.
I was telling Paul
you don't want just dollar bills.
I checked my kit because my phone's in there and money. I wanted to make sure we had enough money because when we stopped at the store, I wanted to make sure that we weren't lacking. So both of us make sure we carry enough. It's a good shot of the jersey. See how it matches our shorts from Santini. So that's another variation of our kit here.
Get another shot of you from way. I like this angle as you climb. Yeah.
Paul and I left Northampton. We went through Creekside to Kirkendall, took Kirkendall to Flintridge, went up through Sterling Ridge to Brent Croston. At Research Forest, we hooked up with Team RR, went down Fish Creek Thoroughfare with them. At Honia, we let them go. We took Capitol Road to Raven Chapel. Some of the riders that had gotten dropped by them rode with us into Montgomery, and then we went through the forest. Southbound through the forest, we saw a bunch of riders that were out this weekend. We filmed through the forest, and we exited the forest and took the guerrilla route. Went up this little climb there, like 10%, I think, or 8 or 9%, just out of the way, out and back. Through Dobbins. At Dobbins, we stopped. We got some water. Then we went 1486 to Jackson Road, past Cairn. We stopped for more water there. Then we took 1488 into town. It was a very hot day. The ride was very interesting. We really liked our new kit, and we hope you will enjoy the clips that we put together for you. We hit Research Forest, and we're just slightly in front of Team RR. That's Mark.
Hey, gentlemen!
I haven't seen him in almost a year. Listen to Randy. He said faster riders on the left. Listen to him. He'll say it again.
Guys. Hey, guys.
Faster riders on the left as he goes by. If you look at my jersey, it's already wet. I'm perspiring quite a bit. And we'll get a shot of Paul later. He's still dry. You can see that my shoulders are wet. The middle of my back is fine. But I just felt warm. And later on in the ride, I ended up removing my bandana. And then much later in the ride, I took off my gloves almost at the end. You just got to do whatever your body tells you to do. And all I did was I drank more. I ran through 2 bottles before Paul even was running low. And so we did the necessary stops at the appropriate time to make sure we had enough fluids. So it didn't affect my riding because I listened to the fact that I needed to consume more fluids. But I definitely was running hot. and the jersey really wicks moisture. But I ended up, you will see, I unzipped it so much to the bottom to where it just basically separated to where it was flapping in the wind, and that felt really good in the riding position. The cooling effect was increased. So we kind of happened upon these guys. We knew that they were leaving around 7:30. We left about 6:48. Our plan is to leave at 6:30, but you all know why we're delayed. But we ended up doing a very intense warm-up to be able to get out there at the time that we did, because normally it takes close to an hour to get to Research Forest. We cut that time down tremendously, so our warm-up was really intense. This is Egypt Lane. We're turning right here. That's Randy in front of me here. And somebody waved a little earlier. I don't know if you all noticed that. There's a guy coming out of the parking lot. We just passed him. It's Greg. He joins the group. I don't know if he left with them or not, but he took a shortcut through. He kind of cut the corner in that parking lot. You will hear me greet him. Right there. I greeted him. I turned around and noticed he was there.
He didn't recognize you with the full beer.
He said he's seen Paul and I riding from time to time. That's Greg Shaw. His brother Doug rides with us from time to time also. But he's not well right now. He had knee surgery. We're not sure what for, but it didn't sound like it was major because he said that he was only taking off a short time. So hopefully it was like a scope or something. Nothing too invasive. That's what he's telling us right now. Because I asked him, I said, where's your brother Doug? He said he had a knee operation. And so he said he's probably just going to take it easy for a couple of weeks. So that made it seem like it wasn't too invasive.
Say hello, man.
You guys watch Randy on the right? Look at his leg. Look at his leg extension. It's completely locked. That saddle is too high. And you will see later in the ride, after he gets dropped, when he hooks up with Paul and I, after we leave the group, you will see his pedaling shows that he rocks. Your leg should not be completely locked like that.
Yeah, I heard.
Look at that. So I don't know what it is that gets these shops and other places to just set people's saddles so high. I guess it looks cool, but it's not efficient because all you end up doing are leg presses on the bike. You don't have any snap, you don't have any spin, you're not smooth. I told Paul, I said the timing could not have been any more perfect for us hooking up with these guys like we did. We got there just in time. It's a stop sign up here. It's a four-way.
Sure was.
Once the first two guys are clear, we go through like a train. I remember someone had come to the channel early on. They said that they were riding with a group in New York, and the group told them, you're not supposed to stop pedaling, you're not supposed to coast. I mean, how is it possible for you to ride in a group without coasting or soft pedaling or whatever? It just didn't make any sense. So I told them, you might want to find another group or start your own. There's all impossible restrictions. So
That's what Greg said. I haven't seen you guys.
just didn't make sense. You can't cycle without coasting, like right here, to take that turn. So how can a group tell you you're not supposed to stop pedaling? So that didn't quite jive. It's possible we didn't get the whole story. We turn left here and we come up to the FM 2978, aka Honia Egypt, aka Sandera, aka Fish Creek Thoroughfare.
Look at that.
Now watch, you'll see John sneak away from the group right on the right. Look to the right, I put an arrow on him. Watch. You don't do that. You stay with the group moves together. We have a few people that always do that. Then they want you to wait for them when something happens. So how are you going to be? This lady here is the daughter of a guy named Richard. And I had told Paul I've ridden with her. You know, she's an okay rider. And it was good to see her out here. It's nice to have some women join the group. We need more of them out here for the variety, you know. So that's why I mentioned, and you hear Greg say that she's great on the flats, but sometimes the hills give her a hard time. Yeah, you know. The hills give a lot of people a hard time. He says she punches a tiny hole through the wind. She sits very low, and what he means is he can't get much of a drag if you're following her. Her dad's name is Richard. I've ridden with him before. I got him on video from a while back. That's what we're talking about. I like to see new faces in the group. But what John did over there is like you're sneaking on the shoulder when it's not safe for the rest of the group. You should only make moves or do things that the whole group can do. That means you're part of the group. Because if you want to do stuff like that, then ride along. You're going to get with the group needs to move as a unit. So you stop when it's not safe for the whole group to go through, and then you go when it's safe for the entire group to go. I told Greg to move up that, you know, we're just going to follow them until Taco Corner, because that's where we thought they were going to go. But on this ride, they didn't go to Taco Corner, so we branched off later. So I wanted him to go up there so I could just sit back here with Paul. I needed to chat with Paul. That was the main reason. You can see that most of the time when I would ride the solo rides, this is the same zone I would be in, but my speed would be lower because you're riding alone. This is why I'm chatting with Paul. He's laughing. We shared a joke. But what the point I was making is that in the group, you can travel faster at the same effort while you're in draft. Right here, we got the wind behind us pretty much at this point. And that's another reason I felt hot. There was no breeze cooling me off other than what we're generating by moving forward. But sitting at the back is not the easiest or the best place to be necessarily, because you will see in a few kilometers people falling off the pace and leaving gaps. You have to be alert because it takes a lot of energy to keep closing gaps. That can cause you to expend your energy inefficiently. So we're riding at around 23 to 25 miles an hour. We got a favorable wind, a little bit from the east, but mostly from behind. But it's not a perfect tailwind by any means. It's just that with the group, you can travel faster. So we're traveling about 26, thereabouts. And I'm in zone 2. If I weren't in good condition, I'd probably be in zone 4 or something at this point. And that's what happens. That's why people get dropped. So we're just really getting into the ride here. I'm not even pedaling right now, just to keep a safe distance. I'm looking around these guys for the obstacles and so forth. I knew that crack where the bridge meets the pavement was there, so I stood up. See me looking around this guy. I want to see if there's any debris on the road so I can change my line if necessary early enough. I don't know why Greg is all the way to the right. Somebody lets him in a little bit. But you shouldn't ride there. There's too much debris there. Just increases your chances of a puncture. So, you know, we're all going to have flats from time to time. It's just a matter of when. But based on how you ride, you can really push that off into the future. It makes a big difference if you pay attention to where your wheels roll. There are cars behind us. I checked the car. He's waiting. The drivers are patient because we've got people that are on the white line, to the left of the white line in front. The camera doesn't pick it up. So he's like, we're going to wait till these guys give us more space. I go ahead and take the right lane that opens up because that shoulder ends. And I'm not going to wait till it ends. That's the guy in the car that's waiting. He's going to pass in the next lane. This is a flat road and we're moving almost 24 miles an hour. You see my cadence. I'm doing that because I know that this road is going to continue to go up for quite a bit. And it just feels right at this moment. I want to keep my snap should I need to react to changes. And you can see as they speed up, I don't need to change anything other than just rev up my gear. We're moving here and we're working. I'm unzipping. I'm getting hot to let more air in the front. The reason I just did that in the rear is when the air hits the front, I wanted that to be down. I'm putting on my glasses here, and then I'm going to rev up to get back in the draft quickly before the speed changes. I'm keeping a high cadence for snap. Now what happens when people get tired, you will see an effect. If we were just going to hold a steady speed, people can hang on. The guy 3 places up from me, his name is Rick. He's the first casualty that the group has. And what happens is he quits because we come to a stop. When the pace changes up and down, that's when people really struggle. That's why road racers accelerate, slow down, accelerate. It's the changes that hurt. Holding a steady speed is easier for the body to adapt to it. And you will see that we'll come to an intersection and there will be a lull. Just enough in the pace for it to slow down a little, and I think the light favors us and we don't have to wait and we just go through, and Rick has had enough at that point. So changes in speed are very hard on the body. It's also hard on the engine of your car. When you're cruising, you burn the least amount of fuel than when you're going from stop sign to stop sign. Same thing. So that's starting and stopping that we get in the mass start races. That's hard, and you have to prepare your engine to be able to tolerate that. And if you haven't done that, you will have problems. I looked down at my gear to see what I was in back there, just to make sure I was maximizing. Because I was really getting ready to find a gear that would just stay in. I think I was already there. I think I'm probably in a 5321, something like that, just spinning something moderate. Because unless I'm really going really hard, I spend a lot of time in the 53-19, maybe the 17 and stuff like that. Until it gets super hard, I don't get to the 15 and 16, and that would have to be on a flat road. You can see I'm soft pedaling here just to make sure I don't come up on that guy. This is where we lose Rick, I believe, because we have to soft pedal for this light. We know it's not long, and now watch. The speed is going to change because someone at the front is going faster, and he can't handle it. Now, instead of letting us know, this is where you got to be vigilant. You'll see right there. That's a gap, and Greg let that open. Now he's got to work to close that. But I stay on this guy's wheel, so I'm not working as hard because I'm in my draft. See, Paul is a little off, quite a bit off my wheel, but he comes back. So you got to be vigilant. So Greg worked the hardest right there, but to his benefit, he did it quickly. He saw that gap, he jumped on it. But ordinarily, Rick should have let us know that he was falling off the pace. He really should have pulled off and like waved Greg over, because Greg was not sure whether Rick was going to close the gap or continue to try to get on Randy's wheel. So as a courtesy, if you're falling off the pace, do it quickly and let people know Rick is done. And in a few kilometers, Randy would start looking back for Rick. I believe Randy got tired up there, and he decided, I'm gonna go back for Rick. And they end up riding with Paul and I. After we pull out of the group, we back off our pace, and all the people that were dropped hooked back up with us. And I think even Greg let the group go for a while, because I think Greg is trying to get in condition at this point. You know, everybody's in different phases of their training. That's why I keep saying, don't gauge yourself by people that get dropped. Look at your stats. A lot of the guys were looking at my bike when we met them this weekend, because this bike is a retro, it's steel. It's got a steel fork. It's a heavy bike. And so everybody's got a carbon bike but me. And they just kept giving it a look like you're riding a steel bike, as if to say it was taboo. That kind of look, you get that feel. And I just kind of smile when I get that. It really doesn't matter in this terrain. We're not climbing Mount Ventoux here. And this is not a mountain time trial. So there's not much of a deficit. Yes, I have to work, but that's why I'm out here to work. But the bike, it plays a small part for this kind of riding that we're doing. We're not competing in a world tour event here. But psychologically, a lot of people believe in the equipment making that much of a difference. I believe the athlete plays a major part, and the equipment kind of complements the athlete. But at the top levels, yes, you do need to maximize the equipment. I stay very close here as we approach. I believe this is Ridge Lake Shores. Yeah, this is like the first real climb on this route. Randy pulls out of the pace line right there, and he's really disrupting our flow right here. He needs to make up his mind what he wants to do. Now he goes back in there. Greg is leaving enough of a gap so that Randy can go back right there. He looked back again, then I realized I guess he's concerned about Rick now. Rick's been dropped for a while. He's just got concerned. I think he's tired. So he does it again, and it's becoming an annoyance because he's messing up the rhythm of the group. That's Richard pulling off the front there. So since he's just taking a pull, I go ahead and roll in front of him so he can take a break in the back. And then right there, Randy tells me to tell Mark that and I told him, okay, that he is going back for Rick. He should have been out of that line the first time. Make up his mind, get out of the way. Don't do that back and forth stuff he was doing. That's annoying. So we end up riding with him later on. You will see that. We get that on camera. Greg also pulls out here. He decides he wants to go back, probably ride with those guys. So we continue the effort here. So in a little bit, Richard's daughter pulls off the front. At this point, I'm making sure that I catch enough wind to prevent myself from getting sucked in. I look back to see who's back there, who's the last person. And I stay a little to the left of the guy in front of me because this is a slight downhill. You can see I'm not even pedaling, just soft pedaling and coasting, just to maintain my position. And by staying on this side, I don't have to use my brakes. You want to avoid using your brakes when you're in the pace line so that you can slow down gradually and let the wind and friction do it. It avoids having that yo-yo effect. Paul spins the camera around, nothing's back there. She's just pulled off the front. She's on his wheel. So Richard waved Paul up, and Paul gets behind me because he wants to stay with his daughter. Because I think that Greg has said that she has problems on the hills or whatever. So I think that they're used to riding together. So he just wants to be in front of her so she's on his wheel. That's John. He pulls over to the left. That's the gentleman that snuck away at that intersection. He pulled over to the left, I guess, to slow down. I expected them to go a lot harder than they did. So at this point here, I wasn't sure. But everybody was behaving themselves. I'm like, okay, we'll just ride this. Do what the group does. Right here, somebody's forcing the pace here. I just kick up my cadence in the same gear. You can see I'm spinning a lot higher cadence than the guy in front of me. I'm stressing my aerobic system. The reason I'm doing that is if anything goes on that overpass, my legs will be fresh. So it's hard to do because if you're not in good condition and you stretch your aerobic system too much, you can go anaerobic. So you have to be very careful in how much of a high cadence you keep. You have to make sure you've prepared your system to handle it. We begin going up the overpass here. We're using most of the lane here because of the construction barrels and all the debris. It clears up a little further up, but at this point, I'm just using the road. In a little while, I hear a truck coming. You know, we're doing about 18 miles an hour up here. It's probably anywhere between 3 to 4%. So I move over here. Paul's on my right, and then I tell him, I know you're there. I got you. Something like that. We're doing about 17 miles an hour at this point, and we're overpass. They're calling car back because Mark in the front is in the middle of the lane. He decides to look for Randy too at this point. So I tell them in a little while to pass it on to him that Randy told me to let him know he was going back for Rick.
Keep going, keep going. You went back for Rick. Randy went back for Rick. Pass it on.
That's what I said. Randy went back with Rick. Pass it on. Not the spot. Shouldn't have been there. That's the place you're gonna look for. Randy in the middle of that bridge? No. Maybe here you can do that. At this point, I don't know they're going straight on this road. This road goes to Highway 105, and that's the road that will take you to Lake Conroe. But the way they go, they avoid the 11% or 15% climb that Paul and I did a few weeks back. So that's not our intent today anyway. We're going to go do more climbing in the forest. So once I realized they were going straight, we waved goodbye. At this point, I'm not aware that they're going straight yet. But as we approach the turnoff, I think this guy's name is Al. I've ridden with him. He and Richard were together one Sunday, and we rode back together through Grand Lake Estates. He also rides with WCC. So I realized they're going straight, so I checked for traffic. I let Paul know and we say our goodbyes. We're going to take Capitol Road and go northwest where the hills are, because they're not going to do that 15%. They always go around it. 15% climb. We want to do more climbing.
Yeah.
I was telling Paul, I said, I don't know what route they're doing, but it's not consistent with our route. So
Good.
I asked him how he's doing. He says, good. We're rolling. And I think we turn the camera off here in a bit.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going down Capitol Hill. We're going to go down the Raven Chapel Road for north, in the northwesterly direction. So we turn the camera back on for Raven Chapel after the forward stop sign.
All the smart riders here. This is a smart group.
The guys who have been dropped, they were chilling, they caught up to us. So I called them a smart group. That's what
Welcome,
Paul said.
guys.
Everybody's waving. There's Greg, Randy's there, and Rick is there. Paul and I have been chatting. So I continue to pedal and then
Hold on, do that one again. Let me suck in my stomach.
Randy wants to
How
post
are you,
the
man?
camera.
Nice jersey,
And this
man.
guy comes by, he has the same jersey we have on. Same color and everything. The pro team jersey. He's wearing a different brand of sock. So the orange doesn't quite match. But as
Hey,
I
man,
come
we
off
got
the
a
front,
team. We got a.
and Paul said we got a teammate.
I said we got a teammate.
So right after Paul said that, this guy, he's not really riding with these guys. He goes ahead and passes. He doesn't know what we're doing, where we're going, and so we're not interested in what he's doing. I decided a little bit to go to the front and give Rick a wheel because I'm not sure why he's up there. Paul said maybe he didn't like us calling him a teammate. He said what happened. I don't know. But I was like, well, I don't know
I
that
thought we
guy.
were with you guys.
That's what Paul said. He thought he was with you guys. No, he just happened upon them after they got dropped. So I just go to the front. You see how I give Rick a wheel? Nice and slow. Just kind of roll. I give him something to latch on to. That's how you do it. Keep the group together. So now we start to roll. In a little while, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. But this is where Greg says he wants to go straight. He does not want to turn right.
Oh, everybody healthy in your world?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So Greg says, I think it's here or the next climb, but I ended up asking him because I didn't hear it very clearly because I'm at the front. But he lets me know he wants to go straight instead of turning right up there. That guy turned right, we go straight. He wasn't really riding with them, he just came upon them. I think he thought we were going to turn as well. I'm not sure why he made that move, he didn't know what we're doing, but he's doing his own thing, so we go straight. And then Greg says that he likes downhills. I decided to just keep the effort the same, whether we're going down or not. So on the downhill, I don't back off because it's easy for your heart rate to drop when you're going downhill. So you will see I continue to ride. If you look at my heart rate, it's going to stay in that zone. I'm in the top of zone 2. Rick is on my wheel, Randy moves up. I'm really riding. Even though we're going downhill, I'm riding. And even when the road levels off, I keep riding. So the speeds are going to go up. My effort will stay about the same, but the speeds will increase because I'm not coasting. So about 44 kilometers an hour, 27, 28, something like that. Miles per hour. My heart rate goes up a bit here. I didn't realize that. If we're going downhill, usually the heart rate drops. Now we're almost at 30 miles an hour. I didn't realize we're going that fast. When I'm riding, I don't look at speed. It's just a tempo I try to hold. On my Garmin, the speed setting, I have a feel for speed, but it's at the bottom left of 10 other things I display, with the most prevalent being my cadence. I display cadence and I really pay attention to the ambient temperature. So I got almost at the sweet spot on this effort. Kept my cadence high. You can see I am pedaling fast. The speeds are going to drop because the wind picks up and the road is flat now. I don't worry about the speed. I keep the effort the same. You can see I went up to 158, 160. I don't see heart rate when I'm riding. That's another thing I put at the bottom next to speed. I don't really worry about that. I just ride on the feel. And all I did was I shifted when necessary. That was a snake on the road that I ran into points. I shift when necessary to keep my cadence consistent, keep the effort the same. I'm looking at it now on the screen, it's just staying at 160. That's how you hold the thing. Guys who ride with power meters, that's what they do. They find the wattage they want to hold and they keep it there. You should be able to do that by feel. You should be able to hold an effort in the same area. Gary's catching a lot of wind here. It's not drafting very closely. Ball's drafting close. We're going to turn right at the corner there. You're going to see Rick do something unusual. He's going to get off my wheel and go across the road, leaving a gap that Randy has to close. Everybody, we're turning. They know we're turning. I tell them, right, I check the traffic. See, I got my inside pedal up. I tell them it's clear, and I keep going. I don't like to stop. We're going. Let's ride. So now Rick was on the other side. Randy has to get on my wheel. Looking back, I'm not sure what he's looking back for. This is the FM 2854. This takes us directly into Montgomery, Texas. So Randy comes around me. I rev up my gear because I realize nobody's on his wheel. He keeps looking back. I don't know what he's looking for. So I get on his wheel and just to make sure I have a wheel. And when Rick pulled off of Randy's wheel, there were gaps. So Paul has ridden up. Now you see Rick is behind Paul and Greg is behind Rick. You guys see that jersey? I've got that pocket loaded. I mean, this is early in the ride, hour and a half, and I've got a lot of food in there yet. And my patch kit, then I carry the gimbal in the middle. Look how form-fitting it is with that band. It really holds its position. So the jerseys are not all created equal. As you start to ride seriously and ride more, you need to invest in better kit. It will enhance your riding. It's not just for show, it's for function. They look good and they function well. We're going into kind of a cross headwind here. The wind's blowing from the right. That's why I'm on Randy's left just a tad. The effort here is not easy because this road goes up. I stand just kind of change the way my muscles are working. crosses my mind. I'm questioning why Randy is spending all this time up there, because he pulled out the pace line earlier. He said he was going to look for Rick, but he's not riding very strongly because, for one thing, his position is off. As I mentioned earlier, his saddle is high, so when you follow him, his knee accelerates on the downstroke, like when you step in a hole you didn't expect it was there. So you watch his form and he doesn't look like he can sustain what he's doing, because he looks like he's doing leg presses. Look at him on the right. Hope we get another good shot of him. It's like he's doing leg presses in the gym. Look at the rocking of his body. It takes a lot of effort out of you, and you're using one muscle group too much. Quads are doing a lot of the work when the saddle is high. Plus, you can injure your knee. I'm very sensitive to changes in my saddle height. He pulls off over there, and then he accelerates. I just hold the same speed. Then he ends up slowing down, and of course, then I'm past him. I wasn't going to change the speed that much. Because these were the guys that could not hold a group pace. After Paul and I pulled off, we started chatting, and then they caught up to us on Raven Chapel. So I realized that, so I'm trying to keep us together for as long as we're headed in the same direction. It's a hot morning. Look at Paul's jersey. Perspiration. But those jerseys, I'm telling you, what I found on this ride is they wick moisture, they dry quickly. It doesn't feel wet and clammy on it. I pulled out of the line because I wanted to have people come through. Paul comes to the front, takes a good pull. You see he turn the camera around. See, I got my jersey unzipped. It just feels hot to me at this point in the morning. See, it says 24C. 24 Celsius is 75 degrees, but it felt like 90 this morning with the humidity. It just felt hot. And we didn't have a headwind on this, more like a crosswind. On the way back, it felt better. The wind slowed us down. That's Bob over there, who's turning on that street. He rides with these guys sometimes. Greg asked, who was that riding? He said, who's that guy? He said, Bob. So instead of leaving with them, he went and did his own thing, and then he'll come back to that board and post all kinds of weak messages about his average speed on his rides and all of that. A lot of drama. Groups have a lot of drama. So I pull through, Paul gets behind me. I'm feeling very hot. If you look at my jersey, it's completely dark. There's at the pockets, perspiration, but it's not wet and clammy. I don't know how they do it. It dries quickly. I can feel the air coming in the front because I have it zipped down, and out at the bottom of the pocket. So there's a lot of good ventilation. The design of these things where they put those gussets under the pockets really make a difference when the pockets are raised like this. That's why they design it like that. Good airflow. So you know, people can say, oh well, some of these dresses are pricey or whatever. No, get what you pay for in life. So if you can afford it, treat yourself, because the features and the functions are real. If we had these when I used to race, I would have been way. I've come a long way. I created these. Look at Randy's jersey on him. Look at mine. I don't know what he has in the pocket, but it looks flat. And if you don't have that breathability on a hot day, and Rick looks like he needs to get more kilometers in his leg. He hasn't been riding much. And when I competed, I did not do a lot of group rides until I had decent conditions. Not competitive group rides. If you're really out of shape, it's hard on your morale to be getting dropped all the time. So it's good to get a few of your mates and you guys go on long training rides as opposed to highly competitive rides when you're out of condition. cadence up because this road is going up. If it falls flat, it's going to kick up when we get a curve coming up ahead. And I believe right now Greg is pulling, and he's there too long. Because we're doing about 20 miles an hour, and this road that I said 1%. He starts slowing down. I don't pass him. I just don't slow down. He's slowing down. Put my hand on his hip bone that he can know that I'm coming by. I kept the speed he was holding back then, but when the road started to go up, he started slowing down. So I didn't want to slow down. I had a nice rhythm. That's why I went through that. Paul is getting very adroit with this camera. The cinematographer from the Republic of the Congo. Randy's working here. This is a good shot. Look at Randy. He's working. He needs a fit. He needs to get tweaked. He'll ride better if he were. That was a warning horn. I'm not sure why he did that. Nobody was deviating from that line. Some drivers do that. No biggie. He wanted us to know he was coming by. In other words, don't do anything. It is so hot here. In a few kilometers, I try to make the light down the hill because I really just want to keep riding. And the light catches us. We start to talk. I get impatient and I miss the cycle of the lights and I start to go before the light has changed. I'm not sure what I was doing because the cycle was that the guys in front of us went left. Then we were waiting for the other side to go. Once the left turn from the opposite side went, I started to go. These guys were like, "Where are you going?" And I looked up, the light's still red. So I had to inch back over. But nothing was going because I was following the cycle. And I knew that the left turn had just finished the other side. But I was ready to ride. The Jersey opened by itself. When the zipper gets really far down on the zipper that long, the Jersey will open by itself. And I didn't mind it. It felt really good. Just, in a little bit I put the arrows there for you to watch my cadence as the speed goes up, because all I try to do is use cadence as opposed to just shifting into heavier gears. We're going downhill here. It's a slight downhill at this point. We start to build up the speed and I continue to just rev up the gear I'm in. I spend most of the time probably in a 53-17 thereabouts, which is about middle of the ring in the back with all the big chain ring. The wind starts to blow and it slows you down. Even though we're going slightly down, it says -0. Might as well be flat here. But once we get over this hump, I see the light and it changes to green, and then I notch up the gear. I think I will look behind and start using the road or something like that. You see the speed's picking up. I think this is why I'm trying to make that light. I look down, I could see it, and I start using the rub. Actually, then I let the light change to red. And I was like, man.
Trying to make that light.
I notice.
When I shift the gears at speed on the Colnago, the Campagnolo goes clunk. You can hear it.
He probably backed off. That's Greg.
That's Greg.
He knows what he's doing. He'll be right on.
Greg took a shortcut. Greg took a shortcut through that.
Hi.
These two riders, catch up to us. And so this is where I'm getting a little impatient. We're talking, I'm watching the cars go from the opposite side. The guy in the truck on the left is gonna go. Oh, the car across from us, they go left, and then these guys are going straight. And I'm thinking, okay, after these guys go, we should be going now. But I forgot that our light went red, so I think we had the right of way first before we got there. The light's kind of weird here. So I'm looking at all the cars. That's all I'm paying attention to.
Exactly like you guys.
And we're talking about the guy that had the jersey like we had.
If I did.
So when these guys turn left, I'm impatient. You'll see I'll start to go in a little bit. I'm watching the cars. See the green here? I start to go. And he said, "Where are you going?"
Where were you going?
So Randy says you need to do a safety video for your channel.
Let's have a video later of let's have a safety check.
A safety check video. I'm not sure why I went when I did, but I expected our light to change because it's like almost like it took forever for us to get in the cycle. Because this had turned green for the cars on our left. They hadn't moved, and I was expecting the one in front of us to go.
We would have had some company. So I was like, what was that all about?
I wasn't out in the traffic yet. That's a shoulder there that I got on.
We got a teammate.
And so that was just really weird.
I said we got a teammate. He didn't like
We're
the
talking
one
about the
bit.
guy in the orange
Let's go,
jersey
Reynald.
that just took off when Paul said we got a
I
teammate.
don't know what you're talking about.
And then he takes off, he ends up riding alone. He could have ridden with a group, have some fun. But, you know, everybody does their own thing.
That's all right.
You got to know what the group is doing. Maybe he didn't want to ride with a group because he wasn't riding with us.
It's all good. Yeah, man.
This is a climb we don't film that often, but it is no slouch. And if you look ahead, it goes up and to the left, then it kicks up some more. And usually on the upper part, the wind batters you. I stay a little on close to the shoulder so that the people can have more room on the road because it's a one-lane road. That's just a turn lane. It's one lane, so the shoulder's narrow. We usually ride there, and then people can kind of stagger. But this is a climb. I'm not sure why it's not registering. That's a rider across. That was a Mo. Not a Mo from Italy. There's another guy named Maurice, I think. He left at 6:30. So he's on his way back.
Yeah.
He's trying to beat the heat.
Yeah, that's what he said. He posted and he said he was going to go early to beat the heat. Now it says 1%. This thing goes on for a good while. So every time we come out here, we have to deal with this. So these are the kind of climbs where you can really get a nice little rhythm. It's almost like a mountain climb. It doesn't have to be super steep. Not all the mountain climbs are super steep. They have their steep pitches, but overall the gradient has an average. You just need to get used to climbing for long periods. That's why the Dutch are very good at climbing because they use the wind. If you can work hard in the wind, the effort's very similar.
Yeah, you went too tight.
And all I'm doing there is keeping a nice tempo because these guys had fallen off the pace of Team IR. There's no reason for me to kill it here. We're just riding. I just want to make sure that I got a decent enough pace going to where they get a little bit of a workout. Because we're going straight. We're going to go to Taco Corner. Taco Corner is on the right at the next intersection. Paul and I continue straight. probably in a 39-19 or something like that. I'm in a small ratio. Keeping my cadence up to stress my system. We'll let them know that we're going to go straight because they're turning right. I check for cars and I use the whole lane. I want everybody, all the cars to stay behind us because some people are turning right. We're turning. So I look at this truck driver and let Randy slow down. Let him slow down. That guy in the black, he saw me and he kind of nodded. So we went. I explained that so you guys can know we didn't just blow through there. That's a lady and the guy that was behind us. That's a lady
We're just
passing me.
not thinking about it.
Yeah, I was. We're too busy to I wanted to get going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about what happened at the light. I was never in any danger because what happened is once I got on the shoulder, because we were standing at the intersection before the shoulder. Once I got on the shoulder, I realized the light had changed. But Paul was like, "What were you doing?" I thought I was just impatient. I was ready to
I don't
ride.
know what was that all about with that guy.
He's talking about the guy with the jersey like us. He was trying to show off, I believe. Because
and we decided to film this area because we got cyclists galore passing us, behind us. So enjoy the footage.
We're in the forest here, headed south, the opposite way of what we did in the rain last week. Paul's jersey, see, is already dry. I'm still sweating. I'm still hot, and I'm drinking water like crazy. When we leave the forest, I'm almost out of water. See? That's what I'm telling him about. I'm drinking all the water. I was just running hot. I ended up taking off my bandana and putting it in the security pocket on the jersey. Later in the film, you may see a little, like a balled up pump in the right pocket. That's my bandana. Took that out. What I was saying about the guy, I think he was trying to show off. We're going at a leisurely pace. He comes by, and you see I'm hot, so I unzip that thing. He comes by and just takes off, so he ends up riding alone now. And he didn't know where we're going or anything. No biggie, but I don't know why cyclists do that. They see another cyclist, they gotta pass him. I don't care. I leave with a plan. So Paul was saying, I don't know what we can do with that guy. He was riding alone. He continued to ride alone, doing his own thing. That's cool.
Wearing the uniforms, like a park ranger.
Yeah, we see a guy standing up there on the left, wearing like a park ranger uniform.
Why you keep looking back? You should have slowed down.
Well, I'm talking to a guy and a girl up ahead. They had passed us, and now they're looking back. They left their friends back there. This guy just happened upon our wheel here, and he said, I think I talked to him a little bit. He said, "Oh, I'm just sucking wheel here." There they are. They passed us in a hurry. Now they've stopped, and they got to go back to check on their friends. This is what I talk about all the time. What's the point of that? Why didn't you just stay with your friends, ride slower, and then all of you could be together? So when it happened, they had passed us a little while before we turned on the camera.
I remember you. I'm so familiar. That's fine.
He looked familiar. I've ridden with him in a group before. He just looked familiar. And then he said he's just here sucking wheel. I told him, yeah, we're just kind of taking it easy. So I told him, welcome. And we're just riding. So I hear a car back. I drift to the right so they can have more room to pass. These roads are narrow. And in this form, that jersey, it was so comfortable for me because I was running hot. I don't know what was going on with me. My thermal regulation may have been off. I think it's because I have not spent a lot of time in hot weather. These are one of the first few hot days we've had. And as I speak, this is Monday, And we had a storm on Sunday evening that basically had lightning and thunder and brought a cool front again. So Monday is cool. Today was very cool. So it's hard to get acclimated to hot weather. And all I had to do was drink like crazy. I finished those 2 bottles quickly. So even though I was hot, I kept the fluids in there. I kept taking fluids. That kept me under control. And then I removed my bandana. And after I did that, I felt so much better. So you have to listen to your body. It never affected my writing because I was dealing with it. I'm aware that guy is back there, but Paul and I this is the pace we're riding. We had planned to go and do Mount Mariah Road. So we're just holding, let's see, my heart rate says zone 3, but I'm really riding in zone 2. I'm riding 2 out of 5. This guy's tired. I see on the picture, I could tell even when we're riding. I think that with everybody being allowed to go out now, I think that he overdid it on this day, because to come way out here on the bike, this area, there aren't too many shortcuts unless you just turn around. Even if you turn around, when you go far out, you're going to do the work going back. So sometimes you make a turn and it can add 2 hours to your ride. You know, this area, the roads are less traveled and they go far out. You have few turns. And I think he just went further than he was ready for. And you will see that at the end of this stretch, even though we're not riding hard, he's having challenges with our pace. There were cyclists galore out on this Saturday. That's why we turned on the camera in the forest. I mean, there's people going by. I thought, Paul, this is a good place to film. Let's just film and show how everybody's reacting to being set free, so to speak. I mean, personally, I don't pay much stock to the politicians. I keep up with what they're saying and their suggestions and whatever. But this stuff's new, so I read up about it from the medical side, the experts, and I let science help me make a decision. And so far, it is well known that you're better off being outside. So if you're going to go to a restaurant, sit outside. You know, avoid buses and, you know, other enclosed spaces, because that seems to be one of the areas where it's easily transmitted. So anyway, I'm standing here because the road is bumpy, and this is where this guy starts having problems. When you're tired, a bumpy road might as well be a climb. I was not aware that he was so far off of our wheel, because at this point I started to let him know that we're going to be turning right. We're taking the route called the gorilla route. There are gorilla statues on that route in somebody's private yard. So we can't film it. I mean, you kind of need like a telescopic lens because the gorilla's not near the fence. But everybody refers to it as the gorilla route. Once you get outside those trees and we get out of the forest, we're taking that route to go to a town called Dacus. You see, he's off the pace here. He's got his head down. He's tired. I was not aware of that. And you would hear me tell him, we're turning right over here. I wasn't talking to Paul. I thought it was there because we're not riding hard. But he's tired. So he overexerted himself. He went a little further than he was ready for. You know, this area is unforgiving. There are no easy ways to get back. You come out here, you're going to be working. Top point. Let him know we're turning.
Have a good ride.
And then we'll wave at him. And we had slowed down for the turn. That's why But look at that jersey. It really looks cool and it's comfortable even though it was hot. At this point in the ride, we're approaching Mount Mariah Road.
We're approaching Mount Mariah Road, wrapping up the downside of another epic ride.
Paul does not hear me. He's got a rhythm going on this highway 11486.
Right turn, my brother.
I had to tell him right turn. Let's get off this highway.
Yeah, this rhythm going. He forgot I said Mount Mariah Road. Yeah, let's get off that highway, man.
I had
bumpy. It got chip sealed. They patched a few places, but that's about it.
I had been pulling for a while.
Yeah, you were in the zone, man. I was like, this guy's not gonna turn.
I had pulled off into the middle of the road because there was no car coming. And I took out the camera and I announced to him, Mount Mariah Road. He didn't hear it. He didn't hear it because of the wind. We're coming back into the wind. My favorite part of the ride, you can see my jersey is dried off. We had just stopped in Dacus, a few kilometers up the road behind, and we got water and everything. There were a bunch of cyclists at that store also.
I didn't hear it.
It's the wind. It's hard to hear in the wind.
Yeah.
I'm glad that group wasn't coming this way.
It was a large group of cyclists at the store where we stopped in Dacus. Yeah, I kept that thing open most of the way back. At this point, I believe I have removed my bandana. Yes. Yeah. I took off my bandana when we went on some dead-end climb.
Taking it easy going home. It's like go ahead.
A climb we've been on before. It's a little dead-end road, but it's steep. We did that. That's where I took off my bandana. I was feeling much better here as far as temperature.
That's why he was telling us about all these other roads.
Yeah.
He realizes we explore too.
Yep.
We're talking about Greg. Greg had seen us come from this road that ends up into a gravel patch. And he asked us, are you guys going gravel riding? So we're checking out the paved section that had a couple of steep pitches on there.
Yeah.
We go out of our way to do extra climbs where we can find them for variety. Every climb is different. I'm trying to zip up the jersey here. The wind is just blowing because we're going into the wind. And so I started to climb and I still haven't successfully gotten the zipper to catch. Right there. That's the hill has started. It says 2%, 1%, 2%. And I'm climbing hands-free. And I get it zipped up. I don't want to climb hands-free here. But you can see my jersey has dried off because we're going back into the wind. I've cooled off tremendously. And so I was feeling so much better here. It never affected my riding, but my feel was off. It just felt like I was riding in an oven early in the ride. Watch my feet.
Yeah.
I mean, I am going through the phases of the pedaling circle. It enables you to ride often with less fatigue. And it says 1%. I don't know if that's 1% at this point. This thing is a nice little kicker. And I goes, it's about 4% or more. The display is a little off there. That's why we come on this road. It's one hill after another. In a few kilometers, we find out that they have closed the road. So we have to get creative. Why they call it Mount Mariah. It's not a mountain. I guess for us it is. We're going directly into the wind. The wind's blowing out of the south. That's what brought the warm temperatures. The warm breezes from the Gulf of Mexico.
Exactly.
We're talking about respect the road. You don't respect Mount Mariah, she will spank you. You look at my feet, it's like I'm slapping the pedals. That's how fluid you should look. You need to work on that. Smooth. The French call it souplesse. You ride like that, you'll be able to ride every day with less fatigue. This is a grade we're on. It says 2%. It was a little more. This whole thing is a climb, and then it kicks up and up there where it curves to the left. I think it gets to like 5% or something. I'm staying on the edge of the road. We have the whole road pretty much, but I stay on the edge because I'm looking for as smooth a pavement as possible out here. There, the pavement changes here. You see the grade going up? Let's see how far it goes. It's more than 2% here. It kicks. I like coming on this road, but to get here, we got to deal with a lot of chip seal and that busy 1486. That's the way that I'm pouring water all over me. And Paul even says, that water feels good, doesn't it? We got cold water at the store. So we try to stop every 2 hours. You know, especially in this kind of weather. During the winter, we don't have to stop as often. So it goes down a little bit, now it's going back up.
Get that kit.
I take the camera from Paul.
In style and form. Man, the pockets look the business.
Yeah, we work on coordinating the color scheme. We have discussions about it, you know, and it works out because it pays to have another set of eyes. I think I come by and I hand him a camera here. We're enjoying Mount Mariah Road, and at this point it has not dawned on us that it's closed, and that's why no car has passed us yet. And we find out why in a few kilometers. We start to notice, first of all, that parts of the road, these cracks you see, there you go. That's what I'm saying. There are no cars on Mariah because there's no cars. Usually you get one or two. But we start to notice that the grass is growing through the asphalt, through those cracks. Not right here, but you'll see in a little bit. And that's when we realize, that's why. I think this is a sign that said,
Why is it closed?
yeah, there we go.
Check it out anyway.
Yeah.
Road work ahead.
Check him out. Check him out. How do you know
Oh, that's a dog. A dog is coming towards us. There he is. He's running towards the fence like we made an appointment with them. That's a good shot Paul got there. A good shot. So this is the detour. This road is a detour that will take us back to 1486. But we decide, hey, let's go see if there's a way we can get through.
Yeah.
So that's why there were no cars.
We're here, we're going to explain.
And now, because it's closed on this lane that I'm in had the sign, right? That's the lane that had all the grass growing through the cracks and crevices of the road. Because no cars are riding on that side.
Exactly.
the people that live in here can leave, but nobody can come in on that side that much. It's the best time to come on roads like this. You got a road that's closed in your area. You can do your sprints. You can do some short intervals on it. This road is perfect for that. We're hoping to be able to get through. And since it's Saturday, a lot of times nobody's working. And that happened to be the case on this day. Because worst case scenario, we'd turn around, go back to the detour. Try to see if I can see the grass coming through the pavement on the film. Cause there's where the work is. At first we were like, oh, we'll have to turn around. And then once we got closer, we realized, maybe not. And this is where I picked up all the mud in my shoe that threw off my cleats on my left foot, because that's all I unclipped my left.
Yeah.
I guess there's enough water coming through here. I thought there was a bridge before. Let's stop right here. Yeah, there's a creek over there.
So initially we're just going to film. You see that wall? They're building for a creek. They removed the culverts you see on the side there. The culverts are little, so I guess they realized it was time to upgrade, because that will wash the road away if the culvert's too little. I told them we can get through, let's try. We get closer here. And then you see there are other bike tires in there.
It's hard enough.
That's at home, boys and girls. We're experts.
I got that from Mythbusters.
It's hard.
We're experts. So yes, the reason I unclip one, you don't want to ride there. If you had a mountain bike, I guess you could do that, but because if there's any soft dirt, your wheel can kind of sink in and stop you. You can fall. Right there, it's real soft. This is where I probably picked up all the compacted dirt in the top of the front part of my cleat.
Careful when you come over there, that you don't tip in there.
Yep. This is.
So I'm telling Paul that as he comes by, you see the edge of that thing?
That's the creek. So they have culverts there.
Yep.
The creek. Yeah, they have culverts. So I don't know why they put culverts on such a big creek.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't see how culverts will get the water across.
Careful coming through there, my brother.
So.
Okay.
Look, we're not the only one. Look.
I see other tires from other cyclists. I said, we're not the only one who's been through here. This is the best kind of road to train on. There aren't going to be too many cars.
Yep.
Only local traffic. Look at the tire marks.
They're bike tires. Our compatriots have already been through here.
Look, man, someone dropped the money here.
If Paul found a quarter, so I said, how much?
It's a quarter.
Oh, okay. Pick it up. Show it to the camera.
There we go.
Shiny money.
It's a shiny
People are
quarter,
dropping
too.
money over here.
People throwing money away.
Yeah.
People throw money at the intersections at the street. We always see money on the road.
Look at down here to the tire. See that?
Yeah, look at all the tire tracks. Wow. There's cyclists galore have been here. I told him, come on, let's get out of here. Yeah, look at that. Those are the form they use to make the wall. So they've been here for a while. We just haven't been out here on this road. But these are the kind of roads that are good for training because you will not have a high volume
these
of
guys
traffic.
can't pick up the trash? Really?
Yeah, people throwing trash on the side of the road. That's what Paul's talking about. I thought I said, well, have you ever seen construction workers pick up that trash? Guys in our area that are working on stuff, they throw that beer cans in people's yard. It's just annoying. They drink beer at lunch and go back to work.
This is the beauty of cycling.
Yeah, it was really cool that we're able to get through there. The privileges of riding a bicycle. So, shortly after
All
that,
right, legends, we're wrapping this up.
we're in the woodlands. On a road called Cochran's Crossing, heading south. We decided to take a different way to get to Flintridge. Closing out this ride, 6 hours and 12 minutes into it. What else are you gonna do on a Saturday morning? As Katie says, it's Saturday. See that hump in my jersey on the right? That's my bandana. I rolled it up and stuck it in the security pocket. At this point in the ride, my thermal regulation is back to normal because I'm feeling fine. We're going into the wind. I feel good. I feel dry. And we're rolling. We're going into the wind here. And I'm relishing the fact that we got that wind to keep us cool. Got those big 28mm tires on the back of that called Nago. I'm spoiled. Feels so comfortable. I got those tires from Paul as a gift from Paul. Continental Ultra Sport. Great all-around tires. I actually prefer them to the Gator Skin. They ride better, they're softer, less roller resistance. Yeah, we were hoping to make the light here, but it didn't work out. So we're in the right lane, nobody's in the left lane. There's a car behind us.
Just gave those guys a turn. All right, come on, let's let this guy go.
So we go in the left lane, do a U-turn here, get in the left lane so this guy can, so the driver can turn right in that vehicle. Because in Texas and a bunch of other states, you can turn right on red after you stop. Right on red with care. So we're just being courteous here. Makes sense. But then I found myself blocking that lady who's on the bike path. So I back up a little bit. But then she's hesitant to go because she really should go now because the light's red. I keep looking at her. Paul's filming her.
You're going this way, right? Oh, yeah, green now.
Well, now it's green. It's too late. So I thought I'll have a good ride. Thinking a little bit, I sit up and actually fix my jersey because I like for it to be free and clear in the back so I can have the airflow I need there because I got so much stuff in the pocket. That pocket is loaded. That guy on the right is there first, so I wave him over. We don't want to unclip. He goes and we roll. It's a four-way stop sign. You have to communicate with the other road users at all times. Makes it a lot easier. My black shoes that I'm wearing are kind of long in the tooth, so the straps are a little unwieldy.
Signal was first. We were due green. Brisk iced tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul bought us brisk iced tea in Magnolia. I haven't been able to find that thing. He told me about a store that has it in our area. I'm gonna look online because that thing is mango flavored iced tea. It hits the spot on a long ride. We've been getting that consistently from that store.
Yeah.
It's about 2 hours from home, and we get that, we load up, and we end up having some in the bottle after we get home. But it hit the spot. So even though the temperature was up, I actually felt better. It's 36 Celsius. It's the 90s. It's like 92 or 93 Fahrenheit.
We stopped at a store and they had a bunch of gravel. I got gravel stuck in my cleats.
I thought the gravel was from the store in Dacus, but it was actually from Mount Moriah. They have the coolest name on these towns that we go to.
Just felt weird. Stopped at the store, I took my tool. It was all wedged in there. Knocked it out.
Yeah, I had to use my multi-tool.
So it doesn't take much to throw off the position when you dial in.
My left foot was going numb because the dirt was in the cleat. So once I knocked it out, everything was fine.
It says 98.2.
Yeah, it says 98.2 on there. Let's see, 36. Yeah, that's about right.
This is on the road, because this thing is close to the sun, too. And it's hot. Come on, light. Let's do this. It was a green.
We don't have any cars behind us, so our concern is they're going to change for us.
There we go. Got the yellow over here. There we go. Green up. Excellent.
I always put the bike in a reasonable gear when I stop, so I can take off without laboring. I always shift up. Same way I do on hills. If I come to a hill I'm not sure, I go lower. It's easier to shift up. I hate shifting down too much on a hill. I'll try to have a low gear and shift up. So this jersey adds a nice variety to our kit. I basically exceeded my normal load that I put in the jersey because I shed my gloves, my bandana, we got food in there, the pump, everything. I check for traffic, tell them it's clear, and we go. That's the quality jersey, guys. Those pockets are loaded. Look at it. They are loaded. You get what you pay for, so invest in yourself. Quit giving all your money to the bills that you pay. Quit giving it to the cable company and all these other subscription services that you sign up for. Spend it on yourself. This is how you finish a ride. Don't limp home. When you train right, you should finish the ride strong. You have to be able to pace yourself so you're not crawling home. Don't train till you're fatigued. Psychologically, that's not very good for you. Always have a little something left. Look how I'm holding the bars, like I'm playing a piano. That's what I'm talking about. You just guide it. Relax your hands. The harder you go, the more relaxed you should be. Look at my left hand, just draped over the hoods. You steer with your hips. You don't need to be grabbing those bars. Makes your hand numb. This hill kicks in, and I just continue to work the gear. I went ahead and run the credits as usual early. Got a little bit of extra footage after the credits. We're thanking our supporters, of course, Senor Ilonga and Joe Nanga in Frisco, Texas. Robert Tangler. And we got our newest member of the channel, Martin Quinn. Welcome to our Veloharmony membership. Looking forward to meeting you on our next live Q&A for members only. You hear the wind. is out there doing this thing, and I'm enjoying it. It's cooling me off. This is Flintridge, up and down, up and down. So this is within about 15 minutes by bike from my house. So you don't have to go far to get a good workout. We go far out because we don't want to do small loops. We want to go visit towns with a name like Dacus and Dobbins, Ghosts and Goblins. They have the coolest names in Montgomery County, you know. So Shiro and Beedites, places of the like. So our rides have become adventures. So you look forward to the next one. You can do the same. You don't have to go very far. Check out a neighborhood nearby on your bicycle. It's a lot easier than walking. You cover more ground. It's an excursion. Just get out there. You have to keep those doctors fired. Hope you got a chance to get out there on Saturday and get your K's in. If you didn't, get on the trainer, go for a walk, keep your body moving. This is what we did on Saturday. What else you gonna do? It's Saturday. Get your K's in.
Plenty.